Jim, after your career was over, you could have moved anywhere in the country. Why stay in Western New York?
Well, you can't take your friends with you, number one. The people here are unmatched. I've been everywhere in the country, and of course, having my son laid to rest here, my wife's from here, my foundation is here. I built a beautiful lodge in upstate New York also, plus the people. I mean, you talk about people with big hearts, you talk about family, close friends, it's all right here in Buffalo, New York.
Now, you mentioned your foundation. You and your wife Jill have dedicated your lives through Hunter's Hope to help find a cure for Krabbe disease and other leukodystrophies. Can you tell us a little bit about how that's going?
Better than it ever has. We're focusing on universal newborn screening, and to make a long story short, because I'm so passionate about this that I could talk forever, after my son went to heaven at the age of 8, we could easily fold it up and said, you know what, we tried, and it just wasn't there for my son. But when I found out that every state in this country is different on the amount of disease they test for with newborns, and I found out that thousands and thousands of babies die every single year because they're born in the wrong state, and thousands more become permanently disabled, I knew something had to be done. I knew when I was a little boy at the age of 8, I dreamt about being an NFL player, and my dreams came true. But there are too many kids, boys and girls, that their dreams are getting cut short, that they're not even getting a chance at life. And when you find out a state like New York was testing for 11 diseases, a state like Mississippi was testing for 45, Minnesota 51, and we're testing for 11, Pennsylvania at 7, Kansas at 4, you find that out, you know something has to be done, and nobody's doing it. So we took it on as our foundation to make sure that we spread awareness, and we reach out to all those families there that have no idea. And we've already changed legislation, I think, in 5 states, and we will continue until we get to the maximum amount of treatable diseases, and that's 54. We're not stopping until it's done.
Well, that's awesome. Let me ask you a question. I also know that you're involved in another charity called Kelly for Kids Foundation. Yep. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Kelly for Kids was founded when I became a Buffalo Bill back in 1987. It's to help Western New York charities. The charities that, $10,000, $2,500 means so much to them. And when you hear their stories, and when you hear where the money goes, you know that everything you're doing is putting smiles on people's faces. You're making a difference in their life. And our motto for Kelly for Kids, what you do today will put a smile on somebody's face tomorrow. And that's what it's about, raising as much money as you can, being able to support these local charities that don't get the 10, 15, $20 million like some of the major charities do. And it's the heart and soul of Western New York. And as I said before, you can't take that heart out of people right here, because they are the heart of all the charities and all those kids that you try to make their tomorrows a little better today.
Now, I noticed you're wearing a Paddock Chevrolet hat.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your relationship with Duane Paddock.
Yeah. Well, I've started my relationship with Duane Paddock many years ago. Just got to meet him through a lot of friends, and of course all of the commercials that you see on TV. But talking to people, you want to associate yourself with class. You want to associate yourself with somebody that gives back, not just so-called a car dealer. Duane's a little different than that. He spreads himself thin because he does so much for so many people that I knew that I wanted to be associated with him. Not only that, he's a big part of our foundation, Hunter's Hope. He gives us a vehicle to be able to transport, whether it's families for our medical symposium, whether it's going to pick up supplies, whether it's helping somebody. Duane's been here from start to finish, and I'm proud to say that I'm part of Paddock Chevrolet's family.
Jim, your name's been linked to possible involvement in future Buffalo Bills ownership. Anything to tell us about that?
Well, of course, down the road, I'd love to be a big part of the ownership of the Buffalo Bills. Right now, this is Ralph Wilson's team, and he's one of those stubborn old men. He's just he wants to have a winner, and he wants to have a winner now. Before he goes to heaven. And for me, there's so many people that have texted me, emailed my office, and say, I get the right people for you. I get the right person here. I get the right person there. And for me, it's a matter of let Mr. Wilson be himself, and when that time comes, when he's willing to open up, I'll be there right at his door. I'll be the first person there, because I do want to make sure that this franchise stays in Western New York. I'm committed to the Buffalo Bills, And I would like to see the Buffalo Bills in 2050 be in Western New York. It's the only place the Buffalo Bills belong is right here.
Well, that kind of is a perfect segue to my next question. December 19th, 2007, you reassured fans and media members that as long as you were involved, the Buffalo Bills would never leave Buffalo. Are you still confident that the Buffalo Bills will never leave Buffalo?
Oh yeah, I am. I'm confident because I know a number of people that right here in this community will make sure it stays here. Plus, probably more than that is Roger Goodell. He's right here from Western New York, from Jamestown. On his dime, he will not let the Buffalo Bills leave because he probably wouldn't be allowed in the state of New York if that ever happened. And you know, Roger loves the Buffalo Bills. You know, he's the commissioner. He doesn't want to see it go. And I know no governor that runs this state will let the Buffalo Bills leave New York.
No, we've talked about the possibility of ownership. Any thoughts about Jim Kelly, the coach?
No. Next question. No. The part of coaching, right now I have so many things going on with my son's foundation. I'm a big outdoorsman. I love to hunt. Unfortunately, the NFL season runs during hunting season, so for me to do that, I can't see it anywhere in the near future. Down the road, you never know, but right now I get too many important things going on in my life with coaching my daughter's basketball teams, helping coach there. You know, of course, hunting, and probably my major thing is my son's foundation, making sure we can change the lives of so many kids.
Now, you mentioned your daughter's basketball team. I heard you were a pretty good basketball player in your time.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. My senior year, I averaged 23 points and 20 rebounds. I wasn't in a real big school, but I love basketball. And it's a good way to keep in shape. It kept you off the streets, kept you doing things, and I've always loved it. And as long as I can instill that in my daughters and still instill in them that, you know, if you want something, you got to work at it, that nothing comes easy. And all those people out there spending hours and hours in the gym and shooting around, those are going to be the ones that make it, you know, down the road, make it further. So I just tried to stress that the work ethic, not only to them, but to my nephews and my nieces, that they want to pursue something after they leave high school. It takes a lot of work, and you have to put your heart and soul into it.
Just a few more questions, Jim. You mentioned work ethic. You're famous for your incredible work ethic. Is work ethic something you think you can teach? Is that something that someone like yourself could teach a young quarterback or a student or an employee at a car dealership, or do you think you're just born with that?
No, well, I think you're born to a certain point, but I think if you want something bad enough, sometimes you need that little extra push. I always wanted to be good, but early on, I really wasn't sure what it was going to take until I was blessed to have 3 older brothers and a great high school football coach. They kept stressing to me that if you want it, you have to put the extra time in, and I wanted it. And sometimes you need somebody to encourage you. You need that shoulder to lean on when you need somebody there, and I've always had that. But more than anything, I had goals. I set my goals as a young kid. I knew where I wanted to be, and thank God my dream came true.
As a young kid, you were from East Brady, Pennsylvania. Good place to grow up and to I guess, to get you ready for life in Western New York?
It was a great place to grow up in Pennsylvania, way out in the sticks, way out in the country. For us, there was nothing else to do. You played basketball, you played baseball, you played football, and then when those seasons were over and it was wintertime, you played tackle them in with the ball in the snow. When the snow melted and there was enough room to play basketball on the wet courts outside, you played basketball. So for me, it was going from one sport to the other, but I loved it. I enjoyed it. I had friends that loved to do it. Too many kids nowadays, there's just too many things to do away from sports, and you got to keep kids active. But it all starts at home. It starts at home with the parents.
I'm going to just name some people's names. Just give us the first thing that comes to your mind.
You got it.
All right. Joe Paterno.
A linebacker's coach.
Mouse Davis.
Wide open offense, spread offense, run and shoot.
Marv Levy.
The classiest coach I've ever met.
Bruce Smith.
Thank God that he was on my team.
Thurman Thomas.
Thank God he was on my team.
Donald Trump.
Egomaniac, but a guy that I got to know and I like.
Perfect. Duane Paddock.
Hard worker, classy guy, loves to have fun.
Dan Marino.
One of my best friends and one of the hardest working individuals I've ever met.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time, Jim. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.